Hello my young Moustache Padawans, how are you all doing today? Today I am here with Blaster 101, Battlefront 2, Blaster and aiming tips and tricks. This is a little guide on everything that is common on every class, reinforcement and hero that use blasters. Before anything else, I would like to ask you to drop a like and to subscribe if you are new here, because I can use all the help I can get to grow the Moustache. Now let's get into the video.
Moustache.
A lot of people have difficulties when it comes to aiming and hitting their targets, and so I will try to help you with that to the best of my knowledge. First, there are some settings that I think you should adjust to your own preferences that can really help you aiming better. First, head to your options menu on the game's main screen and go to controls. The first thing you want to adjust here is your soldier sensitivity, which is basically your normal aim sensitivity. This changes how fast you turn and point with your right controller analog if you are on PS4 or Xbox, and with your mouse if you are on a computer. Each one of you might want to change these to your personal preference, but keep in mind that only after trying it out after some hours of gameplay will you have understood if it's better for you or not, since you need to get used to it. Personally, I use the default value on this one and I do just fine, although turning up this setting a little bit can help you improve, so my advice is for you guys to try it out on your own. Secondly, you can change your aiming sensitivity while pressing the scope button. This one's default speed while zooming is lower than the regular aiming sensitivity, and so it might be harder to aim while scoping. Change this setting on your own and try it out and see how do you prefer to use this setting. I personally use the default value too, but if you master it at a higher value, you will have an advantage over other players since you point and aim faster. The other thing that I think it's crucial for you to change is your pointer color, since the default white color is often barely visible depending where and who you are aiming at. For example, snow maps or white troopers. You should go for a color that never gets hard to see, like green or purple. I personally like to use green. After choosing and getting used to these settings, it's time to learn how to use your blaster classes, reinforcements and heroes. First of all, and this is not only an aiming tip, but a tip to use with every class, reinforcement or hero, you should always have an eye on your minimap. The minimap shows a highlighted red area where your enemies are. If you get really close to an enemy and he is firing, it shows his exact location as a red dot. With this, you can pinpoint your enemies and locate them before they locate you. The dots are players and reinforcements, and the circles are heroes. Heroes are always visible in the minimap unless they use an ability like Raise in Sight or Boba's Radar. If one of your friends is using one of these abilities, the minimap also displays your enemy's exact location. Also, if you are looking at your minimap and an enemy hero disappears, don't think that he died. Be extra careful and protect yourself, as he can be using a pinpoint ability which makes him undetectable in the minimap, and he can locate you both on minimap and through walls. Now let's get into the aiming tips. First, you should always try to use all the possible objects as cover so that you don't get hit as often. One big mistake a lot of new people playing shooters do is to stand still while shooting. They start shooting and then they stop pressing other keys and controls, directional keys or the left analog. This is a complete mistake. You should keep moving at all times because a moving target is harder to hit. And in a shooter game, stopping makes you an easy target, which means you will die really quick and you become a sniper's paradise. So, keep moving, jumping and dodging in order to survive longer. The longer you survive, the more battle points you get. Now, let's talk about our reload system. In Battlefront, blasters have no bullets, they have a heat sensor. You need to keep your blaster cool and try not to overheat it, unless it's on purpose. You can press your reload button to cool your weapon, in other words, to refresh your weapon's heat bar. But what I personally like to do is to let my weapon overheat on purpose. Why? Because you can cool your weapon faster by pressing the reload button or shooting while the pointer goes through the blue or yellow space in the overheat bar. If you press while the pointer is in the blue bar, you get your full cool bar back. If you do it during the yellow one, not only you get your bar back, but you also get unlimited shots for a time. You can see that while your hit bar is yellow. I press blue if I need to shoot as soon as possible and yellow if I want to be ready for more approaching enemies, or to grind more HP to a vehicle. When facing other blaster classes, reinforcements or heroes, you shouldn't only rely on your right analog or mouse, and also rely on your left analog or your directional keys to aim. You should use a combination of both when aiming, since when you move you change where your pointer is pointing to. You should move your character with your left analog or directional keys, alternating between left and right in an unpredictable way, while also jumping and dodging to make you an even harder opponent to hit, and while using both the movement and the direct aim in order to aim better and faster. While playing on PS4 or Xbox, you also have a little aim assist. If you scope while your pointer is pointing to an enemy, the game will help and assist you on your aim. So, if your target moves, your aim follows him a little. You can also turn off this setting, because sometimes you might try to focus one specific target and the game changes your focus to another target, as that target was on your pointer's aim. Once again, try playing with or without this setting and choose how do you prefer to play. One important aspect that will help you improve a lot is that a lot of players use the scope button when they are close to a target. Do not do this, ever. If your target is close, never use scope. First, because if you haven't changed the scope aiming sensitivity, you aim slower than your opponent. And secondly, because it narrows your view and you want to see your surroundings and follow your target's movement as fast and as accurately as possible. This can really improve your game. You will notice a great difference if you used to use scope up close. One more important thing is to choose if you prefer to play in first person or in third person. Both have advantages and drawbacks. While playing in first person, your distance to the target and to everything you see and aim is reduced by 2 to 4 yards, so it's a little easier to aim. On the downside, you cannot see your surroundings, making it easier for opponents to sneak up on you, and for you to miss other important details such as your cover or a grenade next to you. While playing in third person, you have a better view of your surroundings and of yourself, making it easier to understand if you will be hit or surprised by another foe. On the downside, you see your targets and everything with more 2 to 4 yards, making it a little more difficult to aim. There is a workaround for this extra distance when playing third person. Use your own character and head as a reference position. You always have to keep your aim at your head's level or a bit higher, and you want to place your target a little to your right or to your left where your pointer will be, depending on which side of the pointer you are. While playing third person, you can also choose in which side of the pointer your character is. You can do this by fast pressing your view camera swapper button instead of holding it. And that's a big advantage because you can find better cover positions depending on where your enemies are shooting and coming from. Nevertheless, try both the options and see which one works better for you. I would say that overall the third person might be a little better. While playing and finding cover, it's a good option to crouch, since not only you get a smaller hitbox, but also the most skilled players are always pointing at the most probable place to find a head, and so you might start shooting and hitting them before they hit you. While playing, if you notice you are being hit from behind, you can easily get the upper hand on your enemy. First, because your enemy thinks he has the upper hand on you, and so that leaves space for you to surprise him. What you do is the moment you notice you are being hit from behind, you dodge. While dodging, you turn around and before you get up from your dodge, you aim and throw a grenade back at him. Then, you start shooting until he is dead, unless you already killed him with your grenade. If you are using a heavy, instead of throwing the grenade right away, you can first turn on your shield. If you are using an officer, you can disrupt your enemies when turning around. You can also just turn around immediately and adapt or dodge after that. Try out all the different combinations and use your imagination. Don't forget to use melee attacks. Sometimes melee can help save your life and to sneak up on someone better. Melee attacks work like lightsaber attacks, so they stun lock your opponents, and in order to escape a melee combination after being hit the first time, they need to dodge, sometimes dodge and jump, sometimes dodge twice, or if they are using a lightsaber hero, they need to block. I left the most important thing for last. What you want to do is to always keep your pointer at the most probable position where your opponents will appear, and you want to keep it as high as ahead or a little below due to the gun's recoil. You do this so that when your target or enemy player appears, you don't have to turn or to aim that much, since the pointer is already on your target and close to his head. If you hit your opponent's head, it will deal bonus damage. Yes, there is a damage multiplier for every part of the body you shoot at. If you hit your target's legs or arms, the damage multiplier is less than 100%, and so you won't deal as much damage per shot as your weapon is supposed to deal. If you hit your opponent's torso or chest, you deal 100% of the damage per shot that you are supposed to do. If you hit your target's head or back, the damage multiplier is more than 100%, and so you deal more damage per shot than the regular damage per shot. Let me give you one last tip. While I am not engaged in any confrontation, while moving around I usually practice my aim, using different turn rates while turning a corner, or I imagine a target in a certain place, and I jump and dodge and then I point and shoot. It's good to practice your aim if you are not that good at aiming. Also, keep in mind that the most competitive and difficult mode is Galactic Assault. If you need to practice your heroes and your troopers, you can play other modes such as HVV or Blast, Strike or even Arcade. Guys, let me know which of the free class guides would you like to see first. The Assault Trooper, the Heavy Trooper, the Officer or the Specialist. Guys, I really hope this guide helped you out, and if I forgot to mention anything or if you have an additional doubt, just let me know in the comment section down below and I will answer it as soon as possible. Once again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Follow me on Twitch and on Twitter. Join me on Facebook and on Discord. The links will be in the description. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Tuga signing out, and I'll see you next time.
Moustache. Moustache.